Hey everybody, this is Jay, and what you are looking at is the 2016 Jaguar F-Type S. Now, this is a very, very special car. Its predecessors include the iconic Jaguar E-Type, which came out in the early 1960s, 61 I believe, and that was defined as one of the most beautiful cars ever. It still is in my opinion, but more recently, the F-Type is the direct successor to the XK. Now, the difference between the two is that the XK was a bit bigger and it had a rear seat. It was more of a GT or a Grand Touring car as opposed to the F-Type, which is a pure sports car. It's only 2 seats. And as you can see, my car here is painted in beautiful British racing green. It's actually a $600 option. I really recommend that. You have the tan leather interior, and I think this interior design is absolutely perfect for a car like this. The entire cockpit is very driver-oriented, as you can see. Everything is very nicely laid out. I didn't have any sort of problems reaching for the gear lever or any of the other controls. You also have an 8-inch infotainment screen. A really nice steering wheel. It's nice, chunky, and it has a really nice feeling to it. What you just heard was a 3.0 liter supercharged V6 with 380 horsepower and 339 pound-feet of torque. Now, this is the mid-level engine. The base engine is actually, well, it's the same engine, but it has slightly less power, 340 horsepower. The top of the line F-Type is the 5.0 liter supercharged V8. But that car is actually pretty heavy. Now, this one already weighs 3,500 pounds compared to, let's say, the smaller Mazda MX-5 Miata, which weighs just a little over 2,000 pounds. But as you can see, the top, it opens and closes in only 12 seconds. It hides very beautifully. It's absolutely flawless design. The F-Type, just like all other Jaguars, they're designed by a guy named Ian Callum. And he is responsible for making Jaguars the beautiful cars they are today. People always ask me what's the best competitor for the F-Type, and that's a very interesting question. It's not really so much a Porsche 911 or even Boxster Cayman fighter. It's more expensive than the Corvette. I would actually place the Jaguar F-Type more in Aston Martin Vantage or even Ferrari California T territory. All these cars are they're very premium. They offer a lot of power, but they're not exactly like supercar quite, but they're exotic, high performance cars. And I think that's what a lot of people strive for. Not everybody needs a supercar, but they want something very powerful. And as I was saying, the 5.0 liter V8, it's a wonderful engine. It sounds absolutely fantastic. As you heard here, this engine also sounds brilliant. It has that dual exhaust. But that 5.0 liter V8, it changes the nature of the car. The F-Type becomes heavier, and many think that the mid-range F-Type S with this 380 horsepower V6 is probably like the best in the range in terms of like power to weight ratio. And I really like the way that hood opens up as opposed to the opposite way. I think it's just a really nice touch. You have these large 19-inch wheels. It really helps give the car even better proportions. But overall, there's just not a bad angle to look at it. Even the green paint, if you can see it up close in the sunlight, it just looks really, really good. This car, it turns heads everywhere it goes, based on looks and also that sound it makes. But when I mentioned the Ferrari California T, now this is where it gets kind of interesting because that car costs over $200,000. The F-Type S you're looking at right now retails at $90,000. It starts at around $60,000 for the 340 horsepower version, and it actually tops off at over $128,000 for the top of the line SVR. But if you were looking for a premium exotic convertible or coupe, because this also comes in a hardtop, the F-Type S is probably, in my opinion, the best you can do right now, as opposed to, let's say, the Aston Martin V8 Vantage. Now, as beautiful as that car is, it is out of date. It's over 10 years old. We know that Aston Martin is going to be replacing it fairly soon. And I also mentioned the Chevrolet Corvette because, to its credit, Chevrolet has really upgraded that car, the C7, the current generation, and it's made it much more of a world-class, high-performance machine. But the Jaguar is definitely more premium, as you can see. Everything here just has that higher quality touch, and for a $90,000 car, it really should. Do I have any complaints about it? A few, and they're very minor. They're not a big deal for me. I do think some of the materials in the interior here are not of the highest quality. Some things are kind of a bit of a plastic where it should be metal or even carbon fiber. But overall, all the dials and buttons work very functionally. The infotainment screen works well enough. I think there are better ones on the market, but this one is by far not at all the worst. Had no rebooting issues, which I know some people are experiencing with other cars, so that's really good. Now, this transmission is also an 8-speed automatic. It is not a dual clutch. Porsche has the entire dual clutch lineup, but Jaguar has decided to stick with a simple 8-speed automatic. I really liked it. You can get this with a 6-speed manual if you prefer, but I didn't think that the automatic detracted from the overall driving experience. And when I mentioned interior details, if you notice those two orange paddles there, those are, the shift paddles for the transmission. Interestingly enough, though, they're not metal. They're plastic that's painted orange, and I know people have been complaining about that because that paint has been kind of wearing off. On Porsches, for example, those paddles there are actually one-piece metal units, and I really hope Jaguar actually upgrades that when the refreshed F-Type comes out in, I believe, 2017 or either 2018. But other really nice features here, you have a 12-inch speaker, 770-watt sound system, plenty of, decent enough storage space inside. You have your glove box there, had plenty of room, your center console, a couple of cup holders. The interior space in the console that you see here, it's okay. You can get your sunglasses in. You have some USB ports there. But when it came to designing the trunk, Jaguar officials actually told me at Geneva a couple years ago that they measured golf club bags to make sure that the trunk could fit at least 2 of them in there. And as you can see, it is very much a pure 2-seat roadster. Front seat or the only other passenger for that matter, has all the luxuries that the driver has. It's not a manual seat. Everything is fully electronic. And what's nice about the F-Type is that, yes, it can be driven every single day if you want. It can also be a wonderful weekend cruiser. But the F-Type S with a 380 horsepower supercharged V6, it's an absolutely wonderful driver's car, and I think that is what people are going to really want. Now, Jaguar is also making the F-Type available with all-wheel drive, and strangely, the V8 models are all-wheel drive only from now on. This one is rear-wheel drive, all-wheel drive is optional. It'll be interesting to see if Jaguar is going to be able to maintain V8 sales, making it an all-wheel drive only car in the US. So there you have it, the 2016 Jaguar F-Type S. Arguably one of my favorite cars on sale today. Be sure to check out carbuzz.com for the full review. And be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube. And be sure to tune in next time for our next review. Thanks, everybody, for watching.